Root work, feel that natural flow. Root work, stay fresh wherever you go. Root work, I like the way it feels. Root work, the magic is so real. Root work, you need it for work or play. Root work keeps me fresh throughout the day. Root work.
But yeah, when they talk about Kamala Harris and reparations, because I see this coming from some of the left wingers, some of the Democrats talking about, well, Kamala is for reparations. She said she was for it on the Breakfast Club. She said she's for reparations over here. She said she's for reparations. No, she ain't. She's for studying reparations. That's what she said. That's not reparations. She's like, oh, Kamala, you for reparations? Yeah, I'm for some form of reparations. She's talking about a study for reparations. She's not for reparations. That woman has already told us she's not going to do anything that's only going to benefit Black people. So when y'all start talking about how she said she's for reparations, she's talking about she's for a study for reparations. And also, let's not forget, if y'all keep talking about how Kamala is so for reparations, Kamala's in office right now. Where's the reparations? She's the vice president now. Where the hell are the reparations? Miss me with this whole thing where her hands are tied. No, no, no. You're in office now. She ain't stopping for no damn reparations. She's in office right now, ladies and gentlemen. She hadn't said nothing about the California task force crashing out the reparations that we got out here that we're supposed to get. She's in office right now. She has not used the political White House platform to speak up for no damn reparations. Where is it then? Y'all act like she's still a senator. No, she's in the White House. So miss me with that. Sassy, hop in, dear.
Well, good evening. Hello, Tariq. I've been listening to you for such a long time. I
Yes, ma'am.
enjoy your program and I'm thankful. Actually, you're to be credited for the two big reparations that you had in kicking off this, our reparations
Yes, ma'am.
claim, you
Yes, ma'am.
know. So I'm thankful for you for that. Microphone check was par excellent.
Thank you, beloved.
I mean, when I saw that, just know it's par excellent, and I'm glad you got it back on the market
Yes, ma'am.
after that heavy attack.
Yes.
As
Where you from?
far
Where you from, dear? Where you
Denver, Colorado,
shout out to Denver. Love Denver.
yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, and I'm gonna land. And it was something interesting. All of this is on White Night Say So. You know
Yeah.
how you say that, and Wendy Williams said something. She said it's about time they investigated Diddy. I don't know if she knows anything, but I'm landing. Diddy was shrewd and he was very sly to put cameras in every room,
Yeah.
so they don't caught somebody.
Yep.
And I'll land with that. I don't want to reiterate on a lot of the.
Thank you so much, beloved. Let's get the B. What's your name? The beer paladin.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hi.
I'm an Aussie, and my family was deported to Australia 7 generations ago by the English.
Were they prisoners? Because they imported a lot
Yeah,
of the.
no,
Yeah.
no, we weren't called slaves, but we were slaves. We were indentured servants, which was a politically correct way of saying we were slaves. But my ancestors were white.
Oh yeah.
I'm now
Were they prisoners in Britain? Because what they did in Britain, they got a lot of the prisoners and sent them to Australia to kind
correct.
of.
Correct. But these weren't murderers. My ancestors stole linen, which is
Yeah.
like pillow slip or something, and then on the other side of my family, it was sugar. They stole sugar,
Yeah.
and they got deported halfway around the world, which was like a 4 month trip.
Yeah.
And they were made what was called indentured servants, much the same way the Irish ended up in the United States.
Oh yeah.
And I, this is my issue with the whole reparations thing. That a lot of us we could have reasons to be mad. We could have reasons to be angry about where we ended up in life. But
Hmm.
but as a guy that grew up in Australia, and I'm now in the US, the difference between me and somebody whose ancestors were African slaves is that I was really glad. I was really glad that I grew up in Australia. Like, I would not have wanted to grow up in England. In the same way, I think most African Americans would not have wanted to grow up in the countries that their people came from.
Okay, let's
And
slow down. Let's slow down. Okay, let's
okay,
be clear. Some came from Africa, and there were already black people here. So many of us have indigenous lineage as well. Okay,
I I know, I know, I know. It's
Let's-
very complicated.
right.
So
Okay.
so so I'm just speaking as someone who, like, my ancestors arrived on the first fleet into Australia, and there are people in Australia that now go, my people who didn't ever want to go there, they got sent there somehow, like evil people, because we took over from the Aboriginal Australians in that continent.
Well, your
And
family started killing them off. That's what happened. They
no, no,
started.
no, my family didn't. Right, so the British military may have had conflicts with the Aborigines, but I didn't.
No,
And my ancestors didn't. That were slaves, right?
no,
So
no. Some of those British indentured servants, they were over there mistreating the black fellows, as they called them. It was them indentured servants who were over there, those British prisoners, because they had that prison mentality. They were mistreated themselves, and they projected their own mistreatment onto the black aboriginals over there. Also, they did the same thing in Tasmania, and they committed a whole genocide. They wiped out all of the black Tasmanians. So yeah, those British indentured servants, they were just as complicit with the genocide over there. You're not going to let them slip away with that. All right, go ahead, sir. And this
okay,
is
every crime committed by a black person ever since they were enslaved is on you.
no, not at all. But we
No,
haven't.
no, that's what you just said to me. So
But no,
I'm,
no.
I'm just going to flip.
Now slow down. What genocide did black people commit? We've never, foundational black Americans, we've never genocided anybody. Y'all were genociding people over there, sir. Your people, the Brits, not just the military. And the military, some of those indentured servants, they did get into the British military as well. So yeah, they were genociding people over there. They were harshly mistreating people. Foundational black Americans weren't doing that. That's beyond just a crime. That's a genocide y'all were doing, sir. You were committing that.
Okay, can I respond?
Go ahead.
Um, my point wasn't whether or not black people have done bad things in America, and my point was not whether or not white slaves have done bad things in the United States or Australia or any other country where we got deported. My point was that the only way you move forward is by deciding whether or not you want to be where you are and whether you respect where you are. And like,
Okay, slow you down. Yeah, you move forward by being compensated for the wrong that was done to you. Now, when we talk about indentured servants over here, some of the Irish, you mentioned those. You do know that the Irish indentured servants were compensated. They were not forced to work for free all their lives like foundational Black Americans were.
no,
The
no, my ancestors weren't compensated. They were released after 7 years of slavery, essentially. Um, and it may have been because we're white. I don't know why it was a 7 year rule. Like,
land over there, so just like they got land over here, they got land allocated to them. They weren't just left out there ass out. They had land allocated to them, just like the Irish and some of the other indentured servants
right,
had allocated to them here. That's why
right.
so many.
But you
That's
understand you understand the history of slavery. You might
why,
shut me down right now. but you understand the history of slavery. Like it didn't begin in America, and it didn't end in America. It's going on right now, and it was going on for 1,000 years, but well,
And
100,000 years
so
before
assault,
America.
so was sexual assault, but you don't do it. You still compensate people who've been sexually assaulted, sir.
Okay, so is this is like you're 100% about getting reparations?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so me as an Australian who's descended from the British Empire as an indentured servant, do you think I should get reparations from England?
Yeah, you should holler at them. They've probably already given it to you because, again, they gave the indentured servants land after their indentured servitude contract ran out. And over here, they gave them land, money, and weapons. So they were compensated.
Are
And
you fighting for the black Africans that became servants in the Ottoman Empire that got neutered and you
what
know
do what do with
they
me
got
as a
wiped out?
what
Like
does that have what does that have
you,
to do with foundational Black Americans?
so you just think reparations is a American thing? You just
In my government, yes, this is the government in which I live in. This
right.
government had my family enslaved,
I'm not
and this
arguing with you. I'm just trying to understand.
we're not arguing. This is a teaching lesson. I'm not arguing at all. I'm telling you, the United States government that still exists, this government had my family enslaved, and there was a debt that was passed down. So that's why the U.S. government is responsible for
Do you
reparation.
do you,
I
do
don't
you
have
not do you
to do
not
with
think do you
I
not
don't
think that the debt
hold on, I'm talking. I don't have anything to do with the Ottoman Empire. And does the Ottoman Empire exist? It doesn't exist no more. Those some of those old empires, they don't exist no more. And when people start talking about what about some of these African nations that sold such and such, those nations don't even exist no more. I'm not talking about fallen nations that don't exist no more. This nation still exists, and this nation still owes a debt, and I want my money. Shouldn't I get my money?
um who are you going to get the money from?
The US government.
And no, the U.S. government is built on taxpayers. I'm just wondering which
Right.
taxpayers should pay you.
The US government.
No, no, because there's black people that were never slaves that are in the U.S. right now. There are black people
Not get
who
reparations.
are recent immigrants that should never get paid.
They're
And
not. They're not going to. No, no. We're not giving it based on race. We're getting it based on lineage. See? You got to listen, sir. This is why I'm teaching you. I'm not arguing with you because you don't know. This is a teaching lesson. I'm giving you knowledge here. We're not giving all black people no reparations. We're not doing it. It's not race based, it's lineage based. We're only getting reparations for the descendants of freedmen who were enslaved here in the United States. If you can trace your lineage back to the census forms in 1870, that's going to be the qualification to get your reparations. So newly formed immigrants, newly arriving immigrants, then no, they're not going to get reparations. So it's
so,
lineage.
so back then, there were a bunch of black people that had slaves. Are you going to take money from black people that had slaves?
They were part of the U.S. government. See, that's still the U.S. government. See?
No, no, I don't think every taxpayer should pay for shit they were not involved in. There,
Well, yeah. Oh, no, no, no. I wasn't involved in putting Native Americans, the red ones, on reservations.
correct.
I still have to pay the taxes, though.
No, but you
Yeah,
didn't put Japanese people in camps either, right? Like
right.
I agree with you.
I taxes.
What I'm saying is
What you
why
saying?
should all white people, when like there's a very small percentage of white people that owned slaves back then, why should all white people today and black people today, many of whom may have ancestors that also own slaves,
Huh?
pay compensation?
The
I,
same reason they pay compensation to red Native Americans today. The same exact reason.
well, they don't pay compensation to red Americans today.
What are you talking about?
They don't.
Red
They
Native
don't.
Americans get billions of dollars every year. What are you talking about, sir?
No, what I'm saying is
No, stop it. You're not going to sit here and just say something that's not true. Red
no.
Native,
I'm talking as an ex-slave.
hold on.
My ancestors were slaves, right? So I understand where you're coming from.
Babbling, sir.
I'm just wondering if you'd be better off.
No, you're not going to run from that. You're not going to run from that. Red Native Americans get billions of dollars of our tax money every year. You have no problem with that. So why would you have a problem with foundational Black Americans getting our
No,
money?
to be honest, I don't think anybody that has the opportunity in America today would rather be where they were before they are today.
Red Native
In the same way that,
but red Native Americans are getting tax dollars compensated to them. They're getting compensated by our tax dollars. And you keep trying to ignore that. Why are you trying to ignore that?
I'm not ignoring that. The only places that are still getting tax dollars from the United States government are places that didn't create a casino. That's my point, right?
No,
But,
no, that's not true. Native American tribes all over this country get compensation with our tax dollars. They get big money regularly, grant money regularly, free medical care with our tax dollars regularly. If you go look up a grant, red natives, their tribes get first dibs at the damn grants all across the board from our tax dollars. I didn't put them on reservations. You probably didn't either. But this country did, and the country is compensating them. You see how that works? So why shouldn't we get the same compensation like the red natives?
all I'm saying is that if you become welfare dependent, like,
Okay, I didn't ask you about welfare. I asked you a direct question and you keep running from it. You keep running from the question because you know you don't really have a logical answer, sir. If the red Native Americans are getting compensated for what the US government did to them hundreds of years ago, and they're still getting compensated with tax dollars today, why shouldn't we get the same thing? Why is it good for them but not good for us? Please explain. And don't deflect.
okay, I'm not going to deflect. Let me explain this in the simplest way I can. Those of us in our history that have been through bad things, that choose to ignore it and park it, and just,
Have a good night, sir. I'm not trying to hear Mayo babble. They ain't got no logical response. All they want to do is Mayo babble. There's no logical response as to why we shouldn't get our paper. When we start pointing out all of these other groups who get paid with our tax dollars, they start trying to deflect. You don't want to acknowledge that. Other groups are getting paid our tax dollars. They try to act like they're not. They are. And then when you say, hey, why can't we get the same thing? Well, it's like welfare. If you get on welfare and, if over in Africa, there was an elephant that stomped Shaka Zulu. So what about him? Should he get some? They just start saying anything. I ain't trying to hear Mayo babble. You're not about to talk in circles with me. You're going to stay focused. You sat up here saying that um, why should our tax dollars go to people that you didn't have anything to do with? It already does. It goes to all groups of people. You got all our money going to Israel. I didn't do anything to them. We got our money going to the Ukraine. Those are our tax dollars. I didn't do anything to Ukrainians. Our tax dollars go to them. I didn't destabilize Venezuela, but when they get over here, these gangs we have to subsidize with our tax dollars. They come over here, we're paying for their housing with our tax dollars, and then they're committing crimes. I don't want to hear none of that. We got to get compensated by this government, sir. That's what it is.
Hi, I'm Mateo. Do you want to learn about Hidden Heroes? Hidden Heroes from A to Z is a cool book that tells the stories of amazing black heroes you might not know about. You'll meet inventors,
You'll meet explorers,
and leaders who change the world. It's fun, inspiring, and you can learn so much. Get your copy now at hiddenhistorymuseum.com.
Let's discover our hidden heroes together.